What is going on, everybody? We are live. It's BoogiePod episode 68. I'll change the thing below us real quick right here in a minute. I messed that part up. And we are kicking it off. It's NFL playoff scenarios. We're rocking, but before any of that gets started, Jake, how has your week been?
Last week of freedom, so it's been okay.
Yeah,
School.
that's true.
Last week of freedom.
Sad school's going to start up for both of us. It's going to be
Yep.
sad. It's going to be no fun. All right, Jake. We got a jam-packed episode, full of things, full of playoff scenarios. Right, we're gonna do our playoff predictions. We're gonna give our thoughts on all the coaching carousel stuff that's been going on, and not only in NFL but also college football. But for the most part, it's gonna be an NFL episode. We got big weekend in NFL. This is my favorite weekend of the playoffs. I enjoy Wild Card Weekend more than I enjoy the Super Bowl. Because there's so many teams playing, you got throughout the entire day. It's an entire weekend. It's like an entire event. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm stoked. I know you are as well. So let's start it off, though. Let's start off with a little coaching carousel. All right. Bill Belichick has been let go, has been fired, if you want to call it that. And Mike Vrabel has definitely been fired from the Titans, and Bill Belichick for the Patriots. Jake, where do you think? And we're not going to include Pete Carroll because his situation's a little different. I believe it's a little different. He's not necessarily fired going to a different team or anything. But where do you think Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel end up? You can start with whichever one you want to.
It's pretty wild. I'll start with Vrabel. I thought he was a shoo-in for the Patriots job. Like, it made the most sense in the world. He played for them and everything for a long time.
Yeah.
I think Patriots fans like Vrabel, I think. But Patriots hired Gerard Mayo in-house hire today. I think that's very shocking. So Vrabel.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know they hired him.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Patriots hired their guy today in-house. That's so shocking.
That is very
Vrabel
shocking.
Was perfect. But I bet you now, I'm gonna say, here's a hot take.
Okay.
Because Eagles love stealing Titans players, I'm gonna say they're gonna take their head coach too. Sirianni's gonna get fired. Vrabel's your guy, not Belichick.
Wow.
Vrabel's the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Because I don't see him wanting to go to another the Falcons with another kind of bad quarterback room. And it's just we're not really in range to draft a great guy, And it's you got good players, but it ain't gonna happen. Yeah, you're gonna have to have a bad year to get a good quarterback for the Falcons, unless you trade up.
True.
I think he's going to end up with the Eagles. That's I'm gonna keep because they love taking Titans people. I'd say they take him too.
Okay. All right. I can see that. Okay. And then so I think so Mike Vrabel, right? So here's the thing. I had him picked for the Patriots because I didn't realize the Patriots didn't pick their coach already. So that sucks. Now I got to think on the head. Okay. So if he's
Do
not...
you want to think about it? I can go ahead and give Belichick because I forgot we had to talk about both of them.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead. Do Belichick. I'll think.
Okay. And then you can do both here.
Okay.
For Belichick, I was going to say Washington for him, but they've already kind of said they're not going to hire him. I saw yesterday. I'd be shocked now with the way they've talked about it. I think he comes down to probably the Falcons or the real sleeper that's not going to happen, but you could at least mention it's Dallas. I think if there's a chance that they lose Sunday that they will fire McCarthy. And I think Jerry Jones, that's kind of his type of move, just go get Bill Belichick in a sense, but it's also not. Bill Belichick would probably want to be the GM. But I'm going to say the Falcons because I really don't know where else he has to go at the moment. I think he's a good candidate for the Eagles too, but I think they'll want to go for the younger guy who has a lot left in the tank because Belichick's an older dude. He's been around for 20-some years in the NFL, or 30 or 40 really almost. But, I'm just going to say the Falcons, but I'm not confident. I really don't. Belichick's a good wild card, but I'll say Falcons.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go with the Falcons for Mike Vrabel. I think I'm gonna go for the Falcons. Okay. When I think of Mike Vrabel, I think of a really heavy defensive coach who can elevate a quarterback who's not very good with a very simple kind of play action, run game play style. And I think that fits exactly what the Falcons have, especially with the quarterback they're really gonna get. It's probably gonna be a new quarterback. It's probably gonna be I doubt it's going to be free agency. It might be from the draft. We'll see how all that plays out for the Falcons. So I'm going to go Mike Vrabel to the Falcons. And my Bill Belichick pick is going to stay the same. It is no team. I think Bill Belichick is done.
Okay.
I got no team. Little wild card pick for you. I think Bill Belichick is done. I don't think he'll go to any team. I think he'll play around. He'll see what's up. but I don't think it'll end up happening. I think he'll enjoy retirement, and I think he'll end as one of the greatest coaches of all time. And that's where I'll end it at. All right.
Real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Another coaching carousel thing we can mention.
Okay.
Seahawks, I can guarantee you who's getting the Seahawks job. I would be genuinely shocked if it was anyone but Dan Quinn, Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. He's worked for him twice. He's waiting for a head coaching job. I would put money on it.
Okay.
that He's going to be the Seahawks
Okay, I
head
can
coach.
see that.
I would actually. I'm the most confident by far for that one. I guarantee you.
Guarantee. Locking it.
I'm locking it in.
Locking
If
it
not,
in,
I'll
son.
be on here so shocked. I will be legitimately surprised.
Locking it in.
He's not the Seahawks head coach.
I need to get a thing on here where I can put you a little lock that comes on. You can lock it in. That's what I'll start doing. That we'll work on that.
That's my lock right there. I'm so confident.
While you were talking about when you were first started talking, I didn't even look at like our BoogiePod layout because I'm so used to not having the actual layout. And I still have BoogiePod 67 and the old date on there, so I had to change it while you were talking live. So we knocked that out. But yeah, I can see that. Locking it in though, that's interesting. I agree with you though. I could definitely see that. All right, so let's move on to our playoff talk. All right, we're gonna do we're just gonna go through the entire bracket. We'll mix it in with the Super Bowl. We'll just do our complete predictions, starting in the wild card round. Jake, you want to go first, or you want me to go first? We'll do wild card and then wild card, and the divisional, conference championship,
Okay.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
In the wild card round, starting in the AFC, Texans versus the Browns, if I could talk. It's a really good matchup, I think. Been even more interesting, really, if Deshaun Watson was playing, going to his old team at their place. But I think the Browns are just a better team overall. They obviously don't have as good of a quarterback as the Texans. Texans have that on them, but Flacco is playing pretty good ball. I think he's gonna not turn the ball over. That's like the main way I think the Browns could lose any of their playoff games they're in, is if Flacco's kind of gunslinging it and it ain't going his way. Because they can run the ball well. They got pretty good wide receivers in Amari Cooper and some of the other guys like Cedric Tillman, who's a rookie, I think. And just, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, I don't know if he's still playing. I don't know if he's hurt or not, but he's a pretty good player. If he even still plays for him, dang. But their defense is the main reason I'm picking them, the Browns. Myles Garrett, probably would win Defensive Player of the Year on the best player on the best defense. Pretty good corners. Pretty good head coaching job this year from both these teams, actually.
Yeah, they both done really good.
Being Coach of the Year running, I would probably give it to the Browns, Kevin Stefanski, but both great head coaching jobs this year. So I'll take the Browns at the road. I wouldn't know if I called it upset, but the road win.
Okay. All right, I will go. So how are we gonna do? Are we gonna go like completely wild card, or are we gonna go like I go now for this game? How you want to do it?
For wild card, let's do it one at a time. But then after that, we'll have to give our whole.
We'll go. Okay, I got you. All right. So for my Texans and Browns pick, I am gonna roll with the Texans. I'm going with the better quarterback in a playoff game. That is my philosophy. I think quarterbacks win playoff games for you. I think head coaches and teams get you there. I do think head coach matters in the playoffs for sure. But I definitely think head coaching and team gets you there. I think quarterbacks wins you games there. And I'm going with C.J. Stroud and the Texans to win C.J. Stroud's first playoff game of many. And I'm going with the Texans.
Okay. Bills, Steelers, keep this one short. Bills should probably take care of business here, even though I bet you they mess around for probably the first half, and it's like kind of exciting. You're like, the Bills might lose the Mason Rudolph and the Steelers kind of thing. But with no T.J. Watt, they're not going to have much of a pass rush on paper, I wouldn't think. That'd be pretty rough. The Bills' offensive line's giving up a lot of pass rush to no T.J. Watt Steelers, but I'll just say the Bills win. I think at the end the score will seem like it was never close, but I bet you it's close for a bit. But I think the Bills handle business.
Okay. I'm going to roll with the Bills as well, but Steelers cover. Bills win.
What's the spread?
It's like I think it's like Bills minus 10. Steelers cover.
That's fair.
Bills win. Okay. But I think Josh Allen does not play good. And it's going to be 2 weeks in a row where he hasn't played good and they've won, which could be a good sign for Bills fans, honestly. But you're going to need Josh Allen to beat the better teams. That'll lead me into my picks later. But I'm going Bills.
All right. Chiefs, Dolphins to round out the AFC wild card. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm only picking the Chiefs because of the weather, because I don't. It's 2024. I mean, there's ways these guys stay warm now. It's not the 70s no more where they're out there, their fingers are completely numb, and they got heaters, they got coats, they got hand warmers and stuff. But I think the Chiefs are gonna pull it off. I think the Dolphins are completely demoralized after that Bills game. This is speculation on my part. I don't know
Yeah,
any of this, but I think they're a really hurt team. That's what I was talking about last week. They're very injured. I just did. The Dolphins had a lot of chances to beat the Bills at home, and they just
they did.
couldn't get it done. They couldn't get it done. I think the playoff Mahomes is going to show up. I don't even know if he's going to have a crazy good game. I don't know if anyone's going to play great because I mean the weather is
Yeah,
terrible.
true.
It's going to
Defense is
probably be
about
a
play
low
great.
scoring game. This is a nightmare scenario for the Dolphins because their passing attack is so great, and the Chiefs really isn't.
Yeah,
Overall this year, the Dolphins need some weather because in the cold it's going to be in the wind, minus 20-degree wind chill or whatever they're saying. That's going to be hard to throw the ball. It's going to be Tyreek Hill's first game back at Arrowhead, and I think it's going to be too much for him. It's just a tough ask. I just have the Chiefs winning this game.
I agree. I also have the Chiefs winning this game. I think it's going to be really hard to go against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It's going to take a lot. I know his team hasn't been the best. Again, my philosophy from the first game, taking the quarterback here. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs over the Dolphins to win this one. The Dolphins have not. I mean, you could argue the Dolphins have seemed like they've had more problems than the Chiefs has as of recently.
You could argue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. All right. Going to the NFC, Lions Rams. This is obviously, besides the Dallas game, this is my most look forward to matchup because I love the storyline. The script writers are really cooking on this one. But I'm going to have the Rams with the upset. I just think I'm picking off vibes on this one. This is my one game I'm picking off vibes on. I just think it's the Lions' first home playoff game at Ford Field. I believe that's what they're saying. And Stafford being their guy for so long, coming back in the playoffs, I think he just gets it done. I don't know. The Rams have been playing good football, especially on offense, the past half of the season. Really, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think they just get it done. I'm picking off vibes. I won't hide that, but I think it'll be a kind of a shootout. I think Jared Goff actually plays a pretty good game as well, but
Yeah.
Stafford just barely gets him in a great game.
I am rolling with the Rams as well. I'm taking the upset with you as well. I think that the Rams have won the trade. The difference in this game is the coaches. Sean McVay outcoaches with a worse roster and wins the game. Old man Stafford comes through.
Yeah, one other thing about the Lions too, not to talk about the Dallas Lions game, but if it wasn't for the crazy controversy at the end, Dan Campbell would have been just completely roasted out of Detroit, dude. That's one of the worst coaching jobs I've seen at the end of a game. Probably maybe this whole season. It's definitely one of the worst. I don't know if I'm going to say it's the worst, but
Yeah,
completely terrible. I mean, they were reckless. It was reckless stuff. I mean, you cannot do that kind of stuff. And I've told you before, I think Dan Campbell's a great player's coach. When it comes down to that kind of decision making, I worry for the Lions. And if in the playoffs, that's what it could get you beat. And I think that could happen. Potentially, they could see Dan Campbell being a little too aggressive because I put him in the boat for like a Nick Sirianni or even a Brandon Staley, where kind of their whole personality coaching style is being really aggressive. And when it works out, you look great. When it doesn't, you look really dumb.
yeah.
And I like Dan Campbell as a coach, but I think that could get them beat because I think McVay's a great coach.
I think so too. Yeah, I love McVay.
I think he's a great coach.
Great coach.
I love McVay. I think he's really good. And I just think I agree with you. He'll outcoach a better team.
Yeah.
Next game, Cowboys Packers. This one, it's obviously a bit of an upset watch because the Packers own the Cowboys. It's just kind of how it is. Ever since the 90s ended, Packers own them. They're 1-9 in their last game against the Packers, but I'm going to take Dallas. Usually I don't take Dallas in playoff games. Last year I picked them. I picked the Bucks against them. But I think they could get it done. I think Dak's playing so good. And Jordan Love's playing great in the season. He's the most underrated player in the NFL this year, I believe. But I think Dak's playing so good. I don't think they're going to have an answer for CeeDee Lamb. Packers defense kind of let them down most of the year, more than Dallas has. So I just think overall, team for team, Dallas's roster is better. And they're undefeated at home.
Yep.
So I'll take Dallas in this one.
I'm also rolling with the Cowboys. I got them by 2 possessions in this game. 2 possessions, rolling with the Cowboys. I do not think the Cowboys will have any threat of losing at home in the playoffs. Going with the Cowboys.
Okay. Last game of the wild card round, Bucks, Eagles. Saw today AJ Brown deleted all the Eagles stuff off his Instagram. They got issues in
They're having
Philadelphia right now,
problems.
and they are such a talented team. It's correct. I've never seen anything like it. They are loaded in a lot of different ways. Maybe their defense isn't as good as I used to say this year. I think it's more of a coordinator issue and a head coaching
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, they're having
But they have
problems.
problems. They have no good linebackers on their team. Their defensive backs, like Darius Blaze, not playing great this year, and James Bradbury not playing great this year. It's just a weird year for them
Yeah,
because there's so much name power on the defense, but they're not great. But I think Brain, they're demoralized. Something's wrong. They're hurt. I just think the Bucks are going to get it done at home. It's kind of just someone's got to win because I don't think the Bucks are great either. They've not played great football the past couple weeks either.
no,
The
they haven't.
Panthers, like, they couldn't score on the Panthers. And I get Baker Mayfield's hurt as well. That's another one. This is going to be a scuffed football game, dude.
Yeah,
But I got the Bucks win and probably the lowest scoring game of the weekend, I think.
yeah, I agree with you. I also have the Bucks. I think when you watch this game, you're gonna see like it's not gonna feel like a playoff game. These two teams are not gonna feel like they deserve to be in the playoffs. But I'm going to also go with the Bucks. I like how I think it's too much to ask of the Eagles in the situation they are mentally to walk in and win a road playoff game. I think it's going to be rough for them. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. And frankly, I don't trust Jalen Hurts in any scenario right now. And I trust Baker Mayfield more. I think Baker Mayfield's the better quarterback, and I'll say that proudly. Baker Mayfield, the Bucks beat the Eagles.
Oh, okay. All right. I respect that opinion. All right. So now I guess we'll do the divisional because ours are going to be a little different.
We'll
I
do
guess we could just
do the two AFC ones first, and then I'll do my AFCs.
Okay, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. Okay, so my first one's Ravens Browns. This game's gonna be hot. Flacco going to his old team
Yeah.
and trying to get a revenge game type of win. It's a divisional game as well, so it will be a great game, very close. This is factually, I'm not saying off anything off opinion here. Lamar Jackson's a terrible playoff quarterback up until here in his career. He's completely
Yes.
terrible, okay? I think their team is better than the Browns. Obviously, they are better as a team.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Ravens win. Lamar gets another playoff game under his belt, playoff win. I don't think he even plays that great, but I think they just beat them because I think they're better, and they're at home.
I agree.
Okay, and Flacco, I think Flacco turns the ball over in this game. I kind of think he'll avoid it against the Texans. Against a better defense like this, they're all over the place. They get to whoever's got the ball quick. I mean, they don't give you time in the pocket.
Yeah.
I think Flacco kind of loses him this game, and I don't think Lamar necessarily wins it for him. If you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
kind of
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
The Ravens win it because they're just better as a whole team. There's no like standout performance
Right.
from Lamar here, but they win.
I agree with you.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to the next game.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess you'll touch on it. Too.
Yeah.
Bills Chiefs. This is definitely the best matchup of the divisional round, I would say, in my bracket, just because there's a good rivalry here because they've played a few times. But it's Bills at home. I'm going to take the Bills over the Chiefs divisional. This might be a hot take because, Mahomes is obviously the better player. But I don't think they've got it this year. I don't think they have the receivers.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't necessarily think the Bills play great either. I mean, it's just one of those things where
True.
To beat the Chiefs, you got to cover Kelsey, and then just don't let Patrick Mahomes beat you the way he does. I mean, it's not – I'm not going to say it's not that hard, but it ain't like a dynamic offense of the past Chiefs teams.
It's different this year.
A couple guys. It's different.
Yeah.
I think the Bills get it done. I could see this game being another kind of like no one plays great because Josh Allen's a turnover machine this year. And I think he kind of makes it harder on the Bills maybe. I think if he doesn't turn the ball over, the Bills might be able to really run up the score a little bit here on the Chiefs. It just depends if Mahomes can somehow get this team together in the playoffs. They can bring them all together and go win some games. But I just think they're going to have a good draft, the Chiefs, for wide receivers. Their GM messed up. That's the only reason I'm not taking it because I would happily take the Chiefs at the Bills if they had some more talent on offense.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks need guys to throw to, but I'm going to take the Bills.
Okay. For my AFC divisionals, I have the Texans at the Ravens. A little bit different than yours. I'm going to roll. This game's going to feel very similar to how the Chiefs and the Jaguars game felt last year, where it felt like the Ravens were in control for the most part. No, the quarterbacks didn't play outstanding. And everyone thought the Ravens were going to win, but it ended up being kind of like the scoreboard was pretty close at the end, but it never felt endangered for the Ravens. That's what I'm going to think here. I think they're going to win. and people are going to start getting on their high horse on Lamar again and on the Ravens, as they should. Very good team, very good win. They take care of business. Moving on to the AFC Championship game. Moving on, going over to the other side, where it'll be the Chiefs going to the Bills for me. And just like your game, all right, but you're taking the Bills. I'm going to roll with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs for the sole reason of winner or loser. That is the whole reason I'm going with this game. If Joe Burrow can walk in to Bills Stadium and beat him like they did last year in the divisional round, then Patrick Mahomes surely can do it. Surely. Going with the Chiefs to the AFC Championship. So my AFC Championship game is Ravens-Chiefs, and yours is Ravens-Bills. Now let's go to the National League side.
National League. All right, for the NFC, you have Niners-Rams. I believe that the Rams pose the best chance of beating the 49ers out of all the teams, just because it's divisional, and because I think Stafford's a very experienced quarterback in the playoffs, especially now that he has a Super Bowl under his belt. I think this game's a great one. Honestly, I wanted to pick the Rams, but I can't.
Rival
I
game,
just think
too.
the Niners are better. Yeah, it is. I just think the Niners are better. It'll be at Niners, obviously, because they're the 1 seed. They get time off to get McCaffrey, calf injury, healthy, and all that. And I'm going to say the Niners winning probably by a field goal. I think this is a great game. I think the Rams really show up here. Stafford plays a good game. Purdy plays a good game. But Shanahan gets it done and gets his team back to the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
And then Dallas versus the Buccaneers. Dallas has a bad history in the divisional game this century, but this is like the best path they've ever had, debatably, that I know of. And then you play in the sneaky Packers team, but then getting to play the Bucs on my bracket. I think that Dallas can almost kill them. I think I'm not gonna say Dallas kills the Packers. Don't get me wrong. They're not gonna kill everybody in this playoffs, but I think they could beat the Bucs maybe by 3 scores. I think it's possible. I think because at home, Dallas wins convincingly. I'm not going to say blowout, but it's a pretty easy game. I think it's a good matchup for Dallas. Because Bucs can't run the ball very well overall, I wouldn't say. And I got Dallas.
All right, I almost completely agree with you to the T. I have the exact same games you have, and I got the exact same winners. I have the Niners beating the Rams in a very great game, though. I think it's going to be an all-time classic. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a rivalry game. I think the Niners are just more talented. I think this is where you'll start to see the talent issues for the Rams to really show, as I think they hit their max potential here in the divisional round. 49ers move on. Cowboys, Bucks, I agree with you. I think blowout for the most part. Not much going on there. And I think it'll be a very boring game. And I think Cowboys steamroll with all the momentum in the world going to the NFC Championship.
All right, so we can start back at the AFC Championship game. We got Ravens and Bills. This is a doozy game. It's going to be one of those things where both quarterbacks, I like Lamar, I like Josh Allen a lot. I don't trust Lamar in the playoffs. I don't trust Josh Allen not to turn the ball over. But I think the AFC this year has been kind of just more wide open than everyone thought. Because I think most years, this Bills team would not be able to make it this far with the way they turn the ball over. And this Ravens team, they're the best team overall, but I just don't trust the quarterback play. I think being at Ravens, both these teams will be very hyped up, obviously, because the Bills trying to get to their first Super Bowl since the 90s, and the Ravens getting back to theirs since a few years. Yeah, it ain't been that long. But I'm going to take the Bills I would assume, the upset.
Wow.
Taking the Bills over the Ravens.
Bills to the Super Bowl, huh?
And guess how confident I am? Not at all. I'm not confident in the AFC side. I think the Bills could somehow lose the Steelers. My whole bracket is crashed, dude.
It's just over.
Awful. I put all my faith in them, dude. Because the Bills can make this run to the Super Bowl, beat the Ravens. I think it'd be a good game. I think it'll take I think Josh Allen finally shows up in this game. I think you see more of a couple years ago Josh Allen where he's Superman in there and he's making all the plays.
Yeah.
We just wins the game for him. Because in my playoff bracket in my head, Josh Allen's not been great up until this point. He's been fine, kind of like how he's been this year.
Yeah,
it's
up and down.
He'll make you a great play and then throw a pick. And it's oh, well, what in the world are you doing?
Yeah.
He shows up this game and he gets the biggest win of his career.
Okay.
His first Super Bowl.
All right, for my AFC Championship game, it's Chiefs at Ravens. And I think, you had the Chiefs wide receiver issues hurting them in the divisional round. This is where I think the Chiefs wide receiver issues hurt them now. I'm going with the Ravens to make the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson picks up 2 playoff games, wins in a row, going to the Super Bowl. Who you got in your NFC Championship game?
All right, Niners and Cowboys. This has been the team that Dallas does not want to play the past couple of years. They're on a streak in the playoffs losing to the Niners. It being at Niners is the big issue. Dallas has not played great on grass historically the past couple of years. 1. They don't play great on the road this year. 2. And the big kicker, the Niners are better than them. I hate to say it. When we watch games with me with Dallas, I will call for everyone's job when they lose in a bad way. If they lose this game, I won't probably call for anybody's job because I think the Niners are better. And it being at Niners, I'm going to take them. I think it's all going their way. They deserve the 1 seed. They earned it, and this is when it really pays off. Because it being at Dallas this year, I think I would actually give them a decent chance to beat the Niners at Dallas. But it being at Niners,
Can't do
it
it.
ain't happening. So I got a Niners Bills Super Bowl.
Wow, both 1 seeds.
No, Niners Bills. Bills is 2. Bills
Oh,
is 2.
yeah. I was thinking you. My bad. I would say you took the Ravens for some reason. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going with. Oh, wait. So for mine's the same thing. Cowboys and Niners, and all the things that you said are completely true. That they can't beat the Niners, can't win on the road. I don't even know about the grass thing, but I believe you. So all that stuff. Yeah. I am going with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm doing it, baby. They're going to the Super Bowl, Jake. Aren't you happy? They're going to the Super Bowl. Wear the hat proudly. Proudly, baby. They're going to it. They're going to it.
Yeah.
Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Mark my words. All right? If you don't, listen, everybody here, okay? If you don't have a favorite team, you don't know who to root for. All right? And you always hear these bad things about the Cowboys. Go look up Dak Prescott. Figure out who he is. If there's ever been a man to make it to a Super Bowl, it's Dakota Prescott. Dak Prescott deserves it, and he's been the best quarterback all year. Been the best quarterback. He's going to the Super Bowl this year. It's their year. All right, do your Super Bowl prediction, Jake.
All right, the big matchup. If it's Niners Bills, I think it's a great game. That's a great matchup. Historical teams, there's no new kind of people in there.
Yeah.
I think the Niners defense will force enough turnovers in this game to win them the game. I think the Niners will win the Super Bowl this year. I think Purdy gets a ring.
Wow.
Which will cause lots of debates about how good Purdy is. I think he's a good player. You'll hear people saying Purdy's like the best quarterback in the NFL, or he's the best quarterback here. He's better than all these dudes. But I think the Bills' Super Bowl luck's cursed. Make another one and lose another one. And the Niners get a ring. Shanahan finally gets the big game. I just think they're too good, and they're uncharacteristically healthy at the moment. The reason they've not been great the past couple, they've been really good, but the reason they've not made the Super Bowl their past 2 seasons, I would say it's mainly because of injuries. Everyone's healthy at the moment, as long as McCaffrey's healthy. I mean, I think they go through him.
Yeah.
And they've got more playmakers than the Bills. Overall, their defense is better than the Bills. Better head coach than the Bills. So I'm going to take the Niners.
All right, so you got Niners as your Super Bowl champions over the Bills. Yep. My Super Bowl is the Ravens versus the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to be pumped for this game. I'm going to be excited. But we really think Lamar Jackson's going to win 3 playoff games in a row. The Cowboys, baby! Woo! I don't care. He's the best quarterback in the league. Dak Prescott is going to be Super Bowl champs. And Jake's going to be crying. He's going to be crying. He's going to be bawling his eyes out. He's going to be so happy. That day is going to be awesome. I'm just going to be following around Jake. Just going to be following around, watching him. Just be so nervous. So nervous for his boys to go down and win it and beat it all. It's going to be a game-winning drive by Dak Prescott to win the Super Bowl. He takes all the narratives. Gone. Get him out of here.
It's over.
They're gone. He beats the Niners on the road. What? Goes to the Super Bowl. Wins the Super Bowl. That's what I'm talking about. That's Dak Prescott this year. It's going to happen. Lock it in. Lock it in. Take your bank account. Put it on the house, baby. Put it on the house.
Okay.
They're in, baby. I'm taking Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Super Bowl champions are my pick. Jake's picks. The Niners to win the Super Bowl and Brock Purdy to get his first ring, where he will ultimately become the next Tom Brady. So that's the two things. Brock Purdy. So in Jake's bracket, Brock Purdy becomes Tom Brady. In mine, Dak gets the monkey off his back and becomes a winning quarterback in the playoffs. And I'm pumped. I'm excited for you, Jake. I think you're gonna be happy at the. I think you're gonna be happy in February.
They'll lose the Packers now. Oh, well.
All right, let's move on here. Jake, so usually well, I don't know why I say usually because we've only had one BoogiePod since we came back. But what our plan was this year was to do, Jake would rank the top 10 teams, I'd rank the top 10 quarterbacks every week, but we didn't do it throughout the regular season. And now we're in the playoffs. So what we're going to have to do is Jake rank all the teams that are in the playoffs, and then I'm going to rank all the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs. So Jake, if you want to go first, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of did mine like a tier list now, and the teams that I list in the tiers are not in order, so don't try to think that I'm putting like I don't know, like the Ravens over some other team or something weird.
Yeah.
It's just they're in a group. Don't think that, and don't think we just made our picks, obviously, so you kind of get a hint how my stuff will be. But
Yeah, we probably should have
think I
flipped
can't
these.
pick a team. We probably should have.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't think a team below in a different tier can beat a team better because they can. So don't get mad when you're like, well, how did he pick this guy over this dude? He's in a lower tier.
Yep. They play the game.
Okay, upsets happen.
They play the game.
Yeah. So I'll start out in my first tier. I titled it "Dead in the Water" tier. You're lucky to be here, and you've sucked for the past couple of weeks, but you're here. You get to play, but you're probably going to lose, which is funny I say that because my first team in this tier is the Buccaneers. They're lucky to be here. Their division's terrible. The Bucs have played decent football at times, but not the past couple of weeks. Okay, they're in because their division sucks. Everyone knows it. But Baker had a good year. I'm happy for Baker.
Yeah.
But as a team, I don't think they're great. I don't like their head coach, but they're here. Here's the thing I was saying. The Eagles are in this tier. Someone's got to win.
Someone's got to win.
Not dead in the water.
Yeah.
But if they weren't playing each other, they'd
be dead in the water. I got you.
Yeah. Eagles, they win this game, they're dead in the next week. They're getting killed by somebody. Same probably by the Bucs. That's why I have them both here. The Eagles, they've lost. They have all the talent in the world. We were saying up here, the head coach and coordinators both suck. Their whole coaching staff's going to get fired if they lose this game, which I think they will. So my last team in this tier is the Steelers. Imagine that's Mike Tomlin has devil magic. The whole franchise has devil magic. They get it with Mason Rudolph somehow, just to get beat by the Bills, which I said they might keep it close, but I think the Bills end up killing them near the end. But next tier is sleeper teams that could go on a run and make like a Cinderella kind of thing. So my first team is the Packers. I think Jordan Love's playing great football this year. He's definitely the Packers guy. I'd be really surprised if he showed up next year and was really bad.
Yeah.
He played great this year with a bunch of young. They're the youngest team in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's wild.
Dallas is second. Two young teams going at it in the wild card around here. I think Jordan Love playing so good, he can go on a run. I think after if they beat Dallas hypothetically, they'd have to play the Niners most likely, or they would. So that's a tough run, but I think it's in there. Jordan Love's playing good enough. That's why I have him here. My second team is the Texans. Stroud's played. He's probably the offensive rookie of the year. He's playing great. The AFC is a strange conference this year, so anything I could see a weird team getting into the AFC Championship game this year, like the Texans, whose team is not great, but they have a good quarterback. So I have them as a sleeper team that go on a run. My last one, which I do have them going on a bit of a run, I guess, or I guess some people do, some people don't, is the Rams. They're probably the most primed for a sleeper run, Cinderella run, I would say.
Yeah.
Just because they probably play the Niners, which is a good matchup for them, I think, just because the divisional thing, like we said. Stafford's experience playing good football this year, so I have the Rams being able to make a run. The next one is primed to make a run. Like these teams are very capable. I wouldn't even call it necessarily a Cinderella run. There have been good teams this year. Not the best, but they've been like good,
right
below the best. First, I have the Lions. They've beaten some good teams this year. Pretty dang good roster. Aiden Hutchinson's really turned it on this year, becoming a really good pass rusher. The Lions, obviously, I think they can make a run. Next is the Dolphins. They're maybe a little tier high. You could debate. They're not great the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But they have players on this team. Okay, I like their head coach pretty good, Mike McDaniel. They've got Tyreek Hill. They've got Jalen Waddle if he plays. Tua's played some good ball this year. Jalen Ramsey, but they're injured. And but I could see a world where they can make a run. It's possible. They're you can really debate what tier they should actually be in, but I put them here because they've had a good regular season. And the last one in this tier, who is also debatable, is the Browns because I love their roster. Um, I think they could be primed to make a real run. I could see them honestly if they get by the Texans beating the Ravens. I didn't pick them, but just the storyline:
Yeah.
Joe Flacco beating his old team, and then go that's a real run getting the AFC Championship game. So that's why they're there. But then Super Bowl or bust here. This one's more self-explanatory than the rest. It's pretty obvious. I have the Niners because I think they have the best roster in the NFC. Dallas because they're always Super Bowl or bust for some reason, but they're also really, really good this year, I will say. The Bills because they have Josh Allen, are Super Bowl or bust, and they are the 2 seed. So they're obviously one of the best teams in the AFC. Next is the Chiefs, solely because any year Mahomes does not win it is a failure because he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Their team's not the best this year, but any year you don't win it with Mahomes is a failure, I think, because he's the best. And then
Makes
the
sense.
Ravens because I think they're overall the best team this year, most likely. The Ravens or Niners is really close.
Right.
So Ravens are Super Bowl or bust. Lamar's also under the we've said this last week, by far under the most pressure. This is his year, I think, to win it. But we both had him not winning it. So
Yeah.
there you go. Deal with that what you will. That's my tiers.
Okay, I like how you had the Chiefs in there. That made a lot of sense. I like that point. I think that's your best point right there. I like how they're in there because he is the best quarterback talent wise. And if he's not, any year that you have him that you're not winning the Super Bowl or at least making it, it's a bust. And I agree with that. Even though a lot of people probably would look at their team and wouldn't say that right now. Good pick. I like that. I enjoyed that. All right, my quarterback from worst to best is how we're doing this. So who I mentioned first is the worst. I mentioned last is the best. All right. In the 14, that's the easiest pick. It's Mason Rudolph or whoever the Steelers quarterback is. Okay. It's going to be Mason Rudolph. He is not very good, obviously, for obvious reasons. There ain't really much to say about Mason Rudolph. He's been playing for 3 weeks now? Is that it? 2 or 3?
A few, yeah.
Yeah. And he is the best out of everyone they put out there. I will give him that. He'll sling it. He's the best out of everyone they put out there. And here's all I'm going to say. Josh Allen, you get beat by Mason Rudolph, you think the things I've said about you before, it's going to get real bad. It's going to get real bad. There ain't no coming back from losing to Mason Rudolph. It's going to be real hard. All right, coming in at number 13, I'm ready to trigger everyone. Jalen Hurts.
No, I get it.
Jalen Hurts, baby. Anyone in here who has an opinion on Jalen Hurts and you think he's above 13, you're a casual. All right? The only people that you might be able to put above him, don't got none. Actually, don't got none. There's no way Jalen Hurts can be above any of them. I would love to see your points.
Flacco can be below him.
Oh, no. Well, we're not even close to Flacco. We're not even close to Flacco.
Oh, okay. All right.
You go ahead, guys. All right, go ahead. Comment if you want to argue with me. I'll respond. I'll respond to your comments. We'll have a little discussion down there about Jalen Hurts. All right. Moving on. At 12. Now it's time to trigger Jake. I have Josh Allen. I got Josh Allen at 12 because of the inconsistencies he's had all year. I don't trust him. I don't pick him. I think he's a loser, and I'm scared to pick him. That is my thing. I think he's a big old loser. All right, road playoff loss or home playoff losses are a big telltale to that. I don't like that. That's a no-no. Home playoff losses are a no-no. That scares me about him. So got him at 12. At 11, I do have Jared Goff. All right, he's been real good he's been pretty good all year for the most part. All right, been pretty good all year. He has a good team around him. That's all a lot of people forget about Jared Goff. Their team around him is really good. The Lions are a good team. I think you could argue that the coach might be even weaker in Detroit than the quarterback. That might be an unpopular opinion. I'll leave that one there. Moving on. 10. I have Baker Mayfield. Got Baker Mayfield in the 10 slot. He's been good all year. Not great, not bad. Just good. Pretty average. Baker Mayfield. Okay? At 9, I have Matthew Stafford. Old man Stafford. Coming back for a good little run. Okay, he's going to win them a playoff game, I think. And that might be where that ends. 8, Jordan Love. Young guy, future for the Packers. I agree. He's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. They just cook him down there. They just understand what they're doing. And it's funny how that works out. Because this goes back to when we were talking about draft picks. Is Jordan Love technically a bad draft pick because they didn't need him at that time? Or is he technically good because he worked out? How's that happen? All right. 7, I got Joe Flacco. All right. Again, he's been great since he started playing. And I know the Browns' main thing's defense. But I love what Joe Flacco's able to do is come off the couch and perform and run the offense. And that's all the Browns need somebody to do. And we'll see if Deshaun Watson learns from that next year. 6, C.J. Stroud, young guy. Put him in the same category as Jordan Love, but he's better. He's more talented than Jordan Love. And he's a better quarterback than Jordan Love. That's why I got him at 6. 5, I got Tua. He's like the upgrade Jared Goff, in my opinion. He's like a better Jared Goff. And that's why I got Tua at 5. He's been stat padding all year, and that's why I got him up there. 4, I got Patrick Mahomes. Dropped a little bit. He's a little lower because of this year. And Jake, you said something very interesting that I love that you sent me on Twitter the other day about his drops. He has had drops. He's had quite a few drops this year. But it's not as bad as you might think. Look it up. Do your own research. Figure that one out. 3, I got Brock Purdy. I got the ultimate game manager. A lot of people like to take game manager and tag it as this bad thing. Sometimes there's a talent to being a game manager. Not everyone can do it. You could never ask a quarterback like Josh Allen to be a game manager. It's not in his cards. He couldn't do it. It's not his thing. It's not something he can do. There's a talent to being a game manager, and Brock Purdy has mastered that ability so far. And I like him at 3 there. 2, I got Lamar Jackson. I think if there's one guy that has proved this year that when you get a team around him, he's always had this question mark, get a team around him, how good is he really going to be? Or playoff thing, I think he has a great opportunity this year to prove he is the guy, not only in the regular season, but also in the playoffs. That's going to be very important for him. 2, I got Dakota Prescott. Already went off on this guy. I already told you how I feel about him. Going to win the Super Bowl this year. That's why I got him at 1. All right. So we did our teams. We did our predictions for the playoffs. We went through our quarterbacks. So let's move on now. We're going to talk about one more thing, Jake, and that's Nick Saban. We're going to move on to college football. That is Nick Saban is out as Alabama's head coach. He is retired, let alone the GOAT. Hoorah to him. Comes in Kellen. All right, how are we going to pronounce this? Kellen DeBoer?
Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer, Washington's head coach.
Kalen DeBoer.
All right, Washington's head coach, regardless, if you're unaware who that is. He's had 2 great years at Washington. Jake, how are we grading this hire for Alabama? What grade are you going to give this hire?
I'll try to explain it before I give the grade.
Okay.
I think it was a good hire, but a weird hire. Because everyone expected, because Saban's had so many great assistant coaches. I mean, like all the best dudes, it seems like. Kirby Smart, Sarkisian, guys like that are all pretty dang good head coaches right now, especially Kirby Smart. But
yeah,
and like you think they would. No, I'm not saying they should have hired Kirby Smart, but like you would have thought they'd got a guy that worked for Saban. He's been there. He's coached in the SEC and in the South, but they got a guy up northwest, Kalen DeBoer. It's a weird one. I think it's a weird hire. It's like I don't think it's unexpected because they're getting a guy that just made the Natty. Like they're getting another good head coach, but I'm gonna say it's a B.
B?
It's a B hire.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they probably could have done better, probably, but I'm not gonna say they for sure could have though. I think they could have done a lot worse. Obviously, I don't think Alabama's gonna fall off yet.
Yeah,
they're not gonna be as good. I could see them being a team that loses 2 a year now instead of like losing 1 or 0 a year. Now.
Yeah,
maybe even 3. They will not go away yet. They might go away in the next 5 to 6 years, 7, 8 years. But I think Kellen DeBoer keeps them like a powerhouse name for a few years longer at least.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. I got it as a B as well. I thought it was an interesting hire. The reason why I got a B and not an A because I love him as a coach. I think he's done a great job at Washington. Now you're going to give him a little bit more resources and some good things here at Alabama. The reason why I got low is because it wasn't their first option. They called other people, and they declined them. They took them down. Dan Lanning is special. I get why Dabo declined. He built up Clemson. He's getting paid crap tons of money. I get it. Very shocked Dan Lanning declined. That shocked me out of Oregon.
Yeah.
Because I get it, man. You got everything you want at Oregon, But, I mean, it sends a great message now for Dan Lanning. There was a headline where he told his kids, he said, hey, if you don't want a coach that's going to leave you, come to Oregon. So, I mean, he's flipping it. He's using it as a recruiting stand. Good job. Now, will it work out for Dan Lanning? We'll see. So, I got it as a B, though. I still think it's a great hire. It's a good coach. And they got it done relatively quickly. There wasn't much waiting around. All this stuff was moving really fast. Literally, Nick Saban retired, and they got a new coach by the time our last BoogiePod came out. So, and within a week. So I got it as a B. I agree with you. I think 9-3s, 8-4s, 10-2s are around the corner. But I was just telling you right before we started up the Boogie Pod. Now that Nick Saban's gone, already I don't think it mattered who they hired. Already, this invincibility thing they had around them is gone. It feels like, and we'll see what they are. We'll see how they respond. I'm very interested. This is going to be one of the more interesting Alabama years I've ever been excited for. I'm pumped for this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how this goes.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. All right, so we'll wrap it up with what we always wrap it up with, Jake.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he wasn't ready for it. Jake, question of the week. Let those wheels turn.
Question of the week. We'll flip it.
Hunter question of the week?
We'll
Okay.
flip it. We'll flip it every week.
All right.
We'll start doing it week in, week out.
Weekend we will flip it. Okay, so we're going Hunter question of the week.
Just in case.
Okay. All right, Hunter question of the week. Let's see. What do I want to know? Okay. Since it's going to be related to you, what is Josh Allen would do this year in this playoffs where you would call him a loser with me on the pod?
He would have to. They call him a loser. That's a strong word for a guy like Josh Allen. I think he would have to get outdueled by Mason Rudolph. Like Mason Rudolph walks into his house and plays way better, considerably better.
Okay.
And then I would probably call Josh Allen a loser. I'm not a big winner or loser guy.
Yeah, I know that.
I think there's only a few. I know you know that. But
Yeah.
only a few select players you could ever really put that on. Like Tom Brady, he's a winner.
Yeah.
It's you can't dispute that. And there's only a few different guys you could call a loser either. Josh Allen's won a good amount of playoff games and made an AFC Championship game. I think Mason Rudolph would have to outduel him for me to even start to say that.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you what it'd take for me to start calling him a winner.
Win a Super Bowl.
If he made a Super Bowl, I'd give it to him.
Okay.
If he made the Super Bowl, I'd be like, okay. I don't know if I'd call him a winner, but I'll take the loser tag off of him. That's what he made Super Bowl, loser tag's gone.
Okay.
But in order for him to impress me, he has to win the AFC Championship. I'll be impressed.
Okay.
Because that means he most likely had to go on the road and win. That's like the cure. That's the cure.
Yeah.
Going on a road and win a playoff game. All right, guys. That'll do it for BoogiePod episode 68. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like,